So, I don't know what you're grading me on specifically, but I do want to point out that I'm the only one dressed like this. So you guys are in for quite a treat. Because it turns out that I am actually an expert. Well, not an expert, okay. I minored in this. Radiation. So in fact, I was the top of my junior high class. So you are in for a real course. Wow, okay. Clearly there's a conflict here between the natural radiation of this. So if you've ever been to Canada, you can kind of feel the difference. It's like sort of like this. I mean, so everybody knows when you go to Canada, you go like that. Of course, on the other side of the spectrum is the actual challenge that we face as physicists, right, between our internal personalities and what we're supposed to do. So this is the conflict we have, the radiation that's sort of around us. So the challenge of
it's a good thing you're an expert.
where this comes from, if you understand sort of the atomic structure of it, you can use that advantage, quantum mechanics, right? So that lends out, and everybody knows that when you have a parent thing, it becomes a daughter eventually. So the splicification of the atom ends up creating this unnatural pair, sort of like Canada and the US. So we have found through the study of cosmic rays that it is possible to be okay with our neighbors. Which of course explains where it comes from. Everybody knows. Right, okay, so now we are discussing sort of the long-term effects. So because of the radiation that comes from our neighbors to the north, things like this, right? And if you've ever dealt with the Canadian that hadn't had her morning coffee. Okay, so we see that we're starting to blend in science with what we know. Because here it's a perfect example of sort of when you splicify the atom, things change, and then you end up getting like me when I have had my morning coffee. So what that means is that Dr. Carroll? This is a really key part of my slides, and I just was curious what you had thought.
I think you're doing a wonderful
job. So, so when we, I'm losing my Canada thing here. So what's interesting is that when we participate in harmful activities. Now, see, this is a little bit funny because will you die? Probably. So, you know, but if you scan children and radiate them then women in Canada can get pregnant. You gotta be careful. That's part of it. Well, we'll come back to the rest of this. Clearly important. Let's go back to that. Important part, let's go back to the pregnancy issue, right? So, when you're in a car accident, you don't want to be pregnant because the chances of you getting normal X-ray radiation goes up. Yeah. Now we can clearly understand what this signifies, because if you take a machine like this, and we don't know why we're doing that, and you add to it a little bit of fruits and veggies, and you take a mirror of power plant, and you get something that looks very similar to this, and everybody knows why that is. So clearly, this is evidence for aliens. So wear your sunscreen.
Any questions for Dr. Zollinger?
So I assume those aliens are from Canada.
I mean, by definition.
Johnny?
Can you correlate the first, go back to the first slide?
All right.
Is there any way to, that bottom left picture, is there any way to correlate that to the why that one box thing is used to eat some vegetables?
Oh, right, sure, because if you turn that upside down, you have something that when you take fruit and flip that upside down, then it mixes very well in something like that. But, I mean, everybody knows that.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you for not asking what I just talked about.
All right. Dr. Inglefield.